about your instrument?
This is the map of Europe.
So most of the Estonians are against Brexit, and I am also the majority. So I'm also against Brexit, and it's mostly because of the economical reasons, like all the taxes and all these things. But also we have like a lot of Estonians working and living in the UK. So there's also those concerns about the free movement of workers. And third is also like traveling and all the grants and studying like concerns people. So overall, everyone are against it. But we had parliament elections 4 weeks ago, or like 3 weeks ago, and the Conservative People's Party of Estonia got really, a lot of votes, which was really unexpected. And they are a right-wing national conservative party, and they're really extreme and like totally against abortion and against like immigrants and all these things. Like right now in our society, all this debate, against the intolerance and things are going on, so pretty intense. So those people who voted for the Conservative Party are really for the Brexit. So it's but luckily most of the people are against, and most people are liberal in Estonia. And Brexit made the news also. So it's like the Estonian Daily says that the British Parliament says 9 times no to all the versions of like all the possibilities of Brexit. So this article says that the process of Brexit is totally stuck.
When you asked me, then I thought, oh, I'm not so busy with Brexit. It's not so interesting for me. And then because of you guys, I thought about, and I thought, it would be more interesting to talk about a common vision about what Europe can be. And I'm not actually in favor for a Brexit, but I'm not so much against it because I don't know what it really means. And for me, it's more important. So first, I'm critical to the EU. EU is for me more bureaucratic stuff. It's not transparent being. It's not so much about the people. It's always about economy. For me, it's more fun or more interesting from a cultural perspective to think about what is our vision, or what is the future, what is the spirit of Europe, what is the culture of Europe. But I guess it's an important decision. So, and let's see what it is. And I think it's part of this shift to the right wing, what we see in many European countries, and part of protectionism. So for the people, it's stupid. Don't do that. But on the other hand, Switzerland has never been part of the EU, and Switzerland goes well with it. So this is the other side in Switzerland. But Switzerland is a small country, and Great Britain is a big and important country. So this is a difference. If you are such a country like Switzerland, you can be in the niche. We have profit from being not involved so much with anybody else, and so all the taxes come to us, something like that. But yeah, the mentality is it is part of the shift to the right wing, and it is protectionism, and that amaze the people, and they are astonished, and they think it's not good.
As you might know, the politics in my country is a bit of a turbulence one. So it's very rare that foreign politics gets into the paper at any time. And people tend to be very little, unfortunately. And people actually tend to be quite disengaged from politics at all. And when they are, they spend most of the time just laughing at our own politicians. So I must say, and I unfortunately have to say, that very few people are either concerned or even informed about Brexit and what all of Brexit is about. Their feeling is that Europe as it is, ruled by financial powers and multinational, is not working. And so Britain, as always, is giving us a lesson, leaving the Europe and teaching to the rest of Europe that this union as it is now is not working. It's not taking into account all the disagreement that the protests are actually making emerge all over the country. My own perspective is instead quite different, not only from personal reasons, because as you might all know, I'm quite fond of Scotland. I feel it is almost my second home, but also because it's quite disheartening to see a democratic country as Britain is becoming some kind of so undemocratic, not taking into account the amount of protests and energies and disagreement that has been put, not taking into consideration their own people. The government is really losing what it was mostly known for, the British democracy.
The mood about Brexit in Norway, from what I can pick up from my colleagues and maybe the news, is mixed. I feel that a lot of people don't really understand what is going on in Britain and think that they ask whether it is democracy or not. Norway is not an EU country. So in a way, some people also feel that not being in a EU has a lot of benefits. In Norway, that is specifically related to the fisheries. And therefore, I get a sense that a lot of Norwegians also feel that for Britain, it might not be the worst option. In fact, a lot of them can think about business opportunities that might arise between Norway and the UK if the UK is not in the EU anymore. I would wish for the UK to remain in Europe, certainly. My daughter has 2 passports, I don't. I would quite like to be able to visit the UK again easily and also spend a lot of time there because I still have a house in Huntly and I really love the UK. It's been my home for the last 15 years and I see myself as a European citizen, a North European citizen, I guess, being between Germany, Norway and the UK.
For me, I've been based here in Helsinki for a long time, but in the last few years had very nomadic lifestyle and I've decided to return back to Finland so that I have the stability of being here still while holding a British passport, and actually it's the easiest place. It offers some sort of future perspective. I find it very isolating in this position because the only ones who really understand this precarity are either those who are living in the UK with EU passports or British citizens living in Europe, but because of this position here, you're quite dispersed from others who are in the same position. So
yeah,
I find that a challenge in that way.
yeah. And so I moved to Finland because of Brexit, because I thought it was maybe like my last chance to study or do a master's here or be able to like have residency based on like just kind of outside of a working permit, I guess, which I also have. But maybe just the simplification of what this article in the news paper was translated into. Mayhem
threatens freight traffic if there's a hard Brexit. So it's very much about the economics of trade and not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a personal story, but it's about the trading relations.
Yeah.
What's maybe good is at the end of January, the Finnish state decided that no matter whether there was no deal Brexit or an agreement, that they would still offer the same rights of residence until the end of 2020. So in some way, there's a bit of security. It's a bit better than some other EU countries which have individual deals on no deal.
Yeah.
Of course, if there's an agreement, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
But then I received a letter from my university a couple of weeks ago about what might happen in a no-deal scenario. And one of those was that I might have to start paying fees for my master's from, well, they said at least not until September 2019, but that's very soon.
Sweden calling.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. The sentiment in Sweden is the sentiment that I personally receive is the majority of people I know feel a great pity for me and pity for the British people leaving, potentially leaving the EU. Swedes, although they are not always great fans of the EU, believe in acting collectively, and they see the EU as a collective family. So they are very sad that one of the family members seems to have chosen to leave the family. And interestingly, in Sweden, we have, I'm sure you're aware of the political system, it's very different from the UK. We have at least 7 major parties in Sweden, 3 of whom for many years have campaigned, has had as a core part of their manifesto leaving the EU, including a party, the Swedish Democrats, who are kind of the equivalent of UKIP. They're a kind of far-right party. In the last 3 weeks, all 3 of those parties have changed their manifesto and said they no longer want to leave the EU. Sweden and Britain, the United Kingdom, have for a long time shared a little skepticism about the EU. However, as I say, Swedes wholeheartedly want to stay and fix. They want to stay collective. So I think it's a terrible shame. I still can't believe that it's actually going to happen, but somehow it seems almost inevitable now.
I don't know what is going on with Brexit, actually. Why is it going on? You know, Poland has just got into the EU 15 years ago. So I still remember how it was to be outside of the EU. And I don't understand why someone would want to leave, because we have this great Polish diaspora in Britain, which is over 1 million people who live there. They have their families, businesses, and so on. And it's going to be a big problem for many people to, you know, people just don't know what will happen. And sometimes they have families spread between Poland and Britain, or they have businesses that are based on Polish-British relations. So that's actually our huge concern right now.
No, we can't see you yet, but hopefully soon.
Yes.
Hello, Poland, Amsterdam calling. That's
yes,
nice.
Hello, everybody. Well, we are very sad, and everybody is very, very busy with it. Nobody writes positive about the Brexit. When we heard the Brexit thing was happening, the Cultural Institute, the Ministers of Culture, they organized a Brexit boot camp. So everybody could go ask for questions. I want to say something positive, that everybody is now very focused on Scotland and Britain, and that is also very interesting.
A good year ago, I walked to Munich, and halfway I stopped at Pauline's house, and we had dinner, and somebody said there, and it's really stuck in my mind, who said, "We lost our ally." And that was an interesting thing to hear from me, because obviously Holland had a very always a tension relationship to Germany, and had always its ally in Britain, and that's what they said. And it's quite something that's very stuck in my mind from my visit in the Netherlands.
Yes, and it's really true. Everybody said, the newspapers, the radio, television, all day it is about the Brexit.
I think all of us were sad and somehow shocked and incredulous. And then I personally developed a conspiracy theory that maybe Great Britain and the EU have made some kind of secret deal, that we make this Brexit as horrible and as chaotic as possible, that no other European country ever gets the idea of doing something like that again.
And certainly we don't want you to leave. So, I mean, the sentiment here in Berlin, we can say that because we are having this event tonight with authors from Great Britain and the audience from here. And I think the sentiment is quite clear. We don't want you to leave. Stay. Well, we have real problems, right? I mean, Brexit is a problem. I don't want to put it down. But I mean, you in Great Britain, you have fundamental problems too. I mean, talking about, I don't know, educational problems, health problems, stuff like that. We have the same problems here. So we really want our politicians to do these kind of things and find solutions there as well.
Hello, everybody. I would prefer that Britain still in European Union because I can go to Scotland and meet the people that I worked with them. Muhammad Joha and
hello.
his
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. I hope you are fine.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. So if I want to talk about the Brexit, which means British exit from European Union, which will cause a big problem actually in the future, problem in the cultural and political and the geographical sides even, and could also touch the cooperation between the Europeans and the British, which also could provoke a problem of currency as well in the economical part, financial part. So we prefer and we wish that would not happen this big problem and this big division or divorce. We can call it like divorce between European Union and the British.
Michael, there we can see you.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, actually, I took some notes because we had a discussion about Brexit yesterday at the Academy, and it was quite interesting because we were talking basically about this thing with nostalgia, you know, and this this is actually a kind of misinterpretation of what is kind of for us happening here is a kind of misinterpretation of history, you know. What nostalgia means is actually it's kitsch, you know. It's a version of history that is kitsch. When Austria joined the EU, which was much later than the UK, it was 95. We had a war in Europe in front of our doors, you know, in ex-Yugoslavia. So for us, this idea of the EU is not something negative, it's something really positive and actually something that created peace in a really big part of Europe and gave the people living in these countries a chance to be also part of this European project. And I think this is what people here never forgot.
You can bring Ayla into the picture if you like, because we see her head bobbing in and out. Do you know what Brexit is?
Huh? She knows it, actually. We talked about it. Because she asked me if there might be an exit, an Austrian exit. No, no way.
Good morning. On this grey morning, it's an even greyer morning with the prospect of being the 31st of January and the UK leaving us. I just grabbed a number of newspapers this morning on my way to the office. You can see the office here behind me. We are at the Danish Centre for Arts and Interculture based in the Union Arts Centre in Copenhagen, where I'm the director. And one of the newspapers says, "Bye bye Brits." And when you look into it, this is the old lady of Danish newspapers from the mid-17th century. It's a liberal, conservative newspaper, and they are quite concerned of the fact that the pair race we have had with the UK since we both entered back 47 years ago is now come to an end. And in that race between two countries that have looked to each other and found support within each other, you being the bigger country and we being the little brother, there is now this concern that, well, while you're drifting off, going back to being a country on the edge of Europe, we will have to look for new allies in terms of a less bureaucratic administrative model, in terms of having a far more trade focus, a stronger trade focus than we normally see that Central European countries have, to have a tougher approach on budgetary issues, and having a more willing approach in terms of including social, cultural aspects of the European policy. So there is a concern from that particular newspaper, but there's also a kind of trust, because Denmark has never probably been more pro-Europe than we are right now. Brexit has kind of caused us and forced us to look inside and find an anchor point, and basically, politically, it's the far right and the extreme left that wants Denmark out of the European Union. But there's a very, very broad political majority. And there's a very broad sentiment in the population as well, that we have never been this well off ever before in our history. We are one of the very few rich, well-doing, work-life balance countries in the world, and that is partly because we are part of Europe, not necessarily because of European legislation, but because of the way we've prospered from being part of a European family, from being part of European trade, from being part of transnational opportunities to cross borders, work in different aspects. Actually, quite a number of my colleagues sitting behind me here are from Italy, from all over Europe, from Spain, from Greece.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that we have become far more internationalized is an aspect that has been kind of highlighted in today's press. There is also a notion, of course, that this one is a big center-left newspaper. It says CU, that we will have to find ways of doing this divorce in a civilized way. That behind all the Brexit and Leave rhetoric, the UK will find itself having to choose, of course, between a balanced, open, collegial, friendly collaboration across the British Channel, or a more Anglophone, Donald Trump-inspired or US-UK alliance model, which is a model we would not like to see the UK take, because that is about conservatism, value conservatism, and capitalism gone crazy on so many levels that it would probably alienate the UK. In Danish newspapers and Danish media, it's a sad day, and lots of UK. This is a business newspaper, of course, the Union Jack is everywhere. But there is this sadness to everything, because there's this notion that for the first time a country has decided to step back instead of step forward. As we see it over here, this is a deliberate step back. There's no chance that putting United Kingdom first by alienating yourself from the European family is going to be good to anybody. It will be a financial, a cultural, a political and a structural setback, no matter how we see it. And in the nearest future, it's all about basically damage control, how to make a soft landing happen as easy as we possibly can. But again, it is a sad day. Nobody's celebrating, and there will be nobody dancing in front of anything but maybe a few leavers dancing in front of the British embassy here. But that will be about it, I'm afraid.
Brussels calling.
Hello. Hello, Cornelia.
Hi, nice to see you. I've gathered some of the newspapers on this rather sad day. One of them says goodbye. This one I particularly find promising. This is about Le Grand Départ vers l'Inconnu. You see there Boris Johnson waving.
Oh, from a teacup.
Who knows which way to go.
Waving from a teacup.
In a British mug. Libération just says it's time. And with an airplane going there. And the last one, Le Soir, one of the biggest, it just says, let it be, let it be. Europe is like a family, and also even if a family member wants to leave, the one who left, we believe, will be still part of the family in another way. So I think our roots are going to be still together. I really believe that through cultural exchanges and European experiences can reverse the widening gaps between the people and should help to overcome the destructive political divides. Therefore, we are hoping, but on the other side, it's definitely also a sad day. So please keep us being in contact with us, be open towards us. We will be open towards you.
Hello, Claudia. This is Ireland calling. My name is Deirdre O'Mahony, and I'm an artist based in a small rural town called Callan, not unlike Huntly. Sentiments in Ireland at the moment are really a kind of wary watchfulness about actually what's going to happen much further down the line when the trade agreements are signed off on. In other words, kind of next December. There is a real sense, I think one commentator described the sense at the moment as being like having a party on a Tuesday, that all the brouhaha around Brexit is a kind of smokescreen designed to distract from the real business, which will take place much further down the line. Mm-hmm. There is real concern about how the trade agreements might play out because, of course, Britain is Ireland's largest trading partner, and particularly in relation to rural economies. And then, of course, the extremely large concern is around Northern Ireland and the border. Mm-hmm. With kicking the border out to the Irish Sea, yes, the hard border doesn't exist, or the hard, there won't be a return to a hard border. But there is a sense that this is just a deferral of the real issue of what's going to happen about Northern Ireland. And I suppose overall, the sense throughout the conversation about the border and Northern Ireland has been, have you forgotten history? Have you forgotten 30 years of conflict, thousands dead, and the very fragile hold that there is on peace in Northern Ireland? Good side of it, and that again resurfaces in today's paper, is that at least the Northern Ireland Assembly is back in place and there is government in Northern Ireland. The concern is that the rhetoric of Brexit will hand power to paramilitaries on both sides in Northern Ireland. And that if there is a return to a hard border, then that, the potential for that to be exploited by paramilitary groups, through smuggling and various other activities. So there is a sense that this sort of grand Brexit moment is not a Brexit moment. It's actually a kind of pageant, and that the real business will take place in 11 months' time.
Hi, I'm Juliana, and I'm from Czech Republic, and this is a Prague call. I'm a visual artist. The Brexit is not really a topic for Czechs, and I even have asked my friends and colleagues what do they think about, what's going on, and the impression is actually the same. Brexit, unfortunately, it's not really a topic for Czech people. Actually, for Czech people, if there is something which is not really personally touching us, it's not a really hot topic. So this is the maybe first reason. And the second one is, if I can speak from people from the art scene, we have the other topics. It's the climate change, it's the Anthropocene, capitalism, that's it. But some of my friends, they are dealing with this topic only because they have some British friends living there or living in Czech Republic. And of course, for them, it's something much more personal. Me personally, it's like very important because I'm very into European Union and I like the concept, but in general, we have in Czech Republic a strong wave of Euroscepticism. So, and that's also because the politics what our ex-president has seeded in our country.
Spain calling.
Spain calling. Good morning.
Good morning. In the Costa Blanca news, because you know there's a lot of expat people living here in the coast. So here they are saying goodbye UK, but we still love you. Yeah, we are very sorry that this is happening because we have many friends in UK. And yeah, we think it's a pity that the European dream comes to an end. This could be the beginning of an end, hopefully not. And Scotland, at least, comes back to the EU soon.
Yeah, also we hope that it makes no difference between the relationships between people that we know we have many friends there and we have made friends in UK, so this hasn't changed in the future, so let's see. People is talking about this and it's talking about how this is going to be a bit worrisome for people, Spanish people and Catalonian people living in UK, how that is going to go. And also people are talking about how is it that with so many people living in Spain, so many British people living in Spain, how is that they want to live? I know for Catalonia, I don't think Brexit makes so much makes it so much in the conversation as when what does it mean for Scotland, the Brexit? Because then this is a smaller region trying to have its own voice in a Europe more open to smaller languages, smaller identities.
Hello, I'm Sanya. I'm calling from Ljubljana. I'm an artist. So yes, I come from Slovenia. My thoughts on Brexit, I don't know, it's quite difficult. From our point of view, or let's say academia or the people I know, or in Slovenia in general, I would say that we're not very fond of the Brexit because when we entered the European Union, we were eager to kind of be part of this bigger or in a way prosper community. But on the other hand, when Slovenia parted from our former state, which was Yugoslavia, it's in a way, it's funny because we're always part of something else. Slovenia never stood on its own. But European Union it sounds promising. And now one of the leaders or initiators leaving, it kind of left this bad taste in our mouth. It doesn't sound very good. It sounds like this is the beginning of the end. I have lots of friends studying in Great Britain, in UK. They're also afraid because they don't know what will remain the same, what will change. So yes, now we just had my partner's son. He was accepted to the Central St. Martin's. The school fees are probably going to be different. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of my friends thinking of coming back, moving back to Slovenia, who are now working mainly in London. So yeah, definitely things will change.
Ready for page 2? On page 2 then. Environmental, existential, elemental, cheese crisis. Don't be selfish with your insecurity, Mr. Crisis. Family crisis. Critical crisis. Are you on the run like a lemming? Downward spiral early in the morning crisis. Shave its belly with a rusty razor crisis. Outshouting crisis. Insect crisis. Melting crisis. Being too loud crisis. They have too many kids crisis. He's always talking about his great area crisis. She's always world saving and pissing everyone off crisis. Running out of tea crisis. Dog shit crisis. Password crisis. Treading water crisis. Plastics crisis. Who's listening to me crisis. Drawing pens that don't have enough ink crisis. I'm not that sociable crisis. FOMO crisis, reminiscent nonsense crisis, declutter crisis, schools crisis, stupid saying crisis like don't sweat the small stuff. Is that like the stupidest? People say that to you. Oh. Undercurrent crisis, catch-all crisis.